A very good afternoon to you all, and welcome from me, Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, to UBC Lunchtime News this Tuesday, the 14th day of November 2023. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcast House here on Nile Avenue. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has today met a group of investors from the United Arab Emirates, UAE, in Abu Dhabi, where he arrived yesterday at the invitation of his UAE counterpart, His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. The president implored the investors to interest themselves in the area of local production of pharmaceutical products in Uganda and appealed to them to locally partner with the Ugandan government in reducing the immense amount of starch from the various crops by putting it into good use of producing pharmaceutical drugs. President Museveni also mentioned that Uganda is blessed with a variety of minerals, thus encouraging the investors to consider the country's lucrative industrial venture, saying that the government is ready to work with them. Speaking to another group of investors led by Saif Rupawala, the Chief Executive Officer of Lulu Group International, the President hailed the investors for exporting Ugandan products on a global market. President Museveni also met other investors and discussed investment opportunities and possible areas of economic cooperation between Uganda and the UAE. He welcomed them to Uganda and assured them of a ready market for their goods and services with a conducive business atmosphere. The meeting was also attended by the Minister for Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Matia Kasaija, the Attorney General, Chiriowa Chiwanuka, the Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Henry Okello Oryem, His Excellency Zaki W. Kibedi, Ambassador of the Republic of Uganda to the United Arab Emirates, and the Director General of the External Security Organization, ESO, Ambassador Joseph Ochwet. Now, the judiciary has plans to reduce its judge-to-client ratio from 160,000 people to 80,000 for effective access to justice and clear the case backlogs in court. According to Chief Justice Alphonse Winyi Dolo, more emphasis will be put on Court of Appeal, which has a target of 56 justices in the 8 dockets across the country. Chief Justice Dolo was presiding over a 2-week induction of 11 justices in Entebbe.
My Lord CJ, the judges before you have already been deployed and started work in their respective High Court divisions and circuits. They are now familiar and have some experience of a few months in the work of the High Court judge. As the JTI, we regret that it was not possible to have this induction conducted before their lordship's deployment as had been desired. But due to reasons beyond our control, this was not possible.
And if we got the funds, we would start with Gulu and Mbarara. What does this mean? To expand, because 8 Court of Appeal stations plus the one in Kampala 9, you need a total of 56 Court of Appeal justices. Where do we get them from? We'll get them from those hard-working judicial officers among you, those who have proven that they know why they've been made judicial officers. So while, as it is, there are only 15 slots, and you can work so hard, and you cannot take 15 in a year, you take 3, 4. If we have 56 slots, you can imagine the number of judicial officers you need to fill those slots. Meaning, instead of taking 15 years in the High Court, you probably take 5 years and you're in the Court of Appeal. That's really what it means. And the only person who will stand in your way is you, because you made it so difficult for anyone to kick you upstairs.
Now, the government of Uganda has reassured the country and the world at large that preparations for the 2024 non-aligned movement and the third South Summits slated for January are in final touches and nothing will bar them from happening as earlier programmed. The National Organizing Committee, led by the Secretary to Cabinet, Lucy Nachiobe, has held a summit media breakfast where, among others, they have outlined the progress so far. Take a watch.
We at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs are open and we are happy to listen. But I think we owe the country a duty of care to ensure that we promote our country as a positive destination for tourism. As you know, a tourist is someone who comes in a capital and spends a number of days, 3 and more, and we are hoping that these events will indeed assist us in promoting the country as a tourism destination and also as an investment destination, as Sarah Kajingo has communicated.
And these two summits will take place at the Speak Resort, Munyonyo. Today we are here to inform the public about how prepared we are for these two important events. These preparations started way back in November 2022, and today we feel we are ready to let it out for everybody to know what has been going on. It is also worth noting that the endorsement for Uganda to hold these two summits is a vote of confidence in the leadership of our President, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and also in our multilateral engagements. I take this opportunity to update you on the preparedness. What is it that we have done so far? As far as venue is concerned, the two summits are going to be held at Speak Resort Munyonyo. The construction of the multipurpose convention center is on course and will be ready in time to host the two summits. Transport and vehicles for the summits. The government has mobilized the requisite vehicles for the two summits, and in addition, the People's Republic of China earlier had donated 70 SUVs and added us another 70 SUVs, and these are already here with us in the country for use at the summits. On works and infrastructure, the government of Uganda has embarked on the road repairs and maintenance works in preparation for the summits. There is improvement going on the drainages, flood management, street lighting, and as you might already have noticed, there is a lot of construction going around, especially around the city and on Entebbe Road.
Now, Uganda Bureau of Statistics has expressed the need to harness official data in Africa to understand what each country is endowed with. The Executive Director, UBOS, Chris Mukiza, says there is need to have coordinates to whatever they do, which is part of the big data. During the Africa Statistics Week, UBOS also plans to launch the National Indicator Framework, which helps to measure development progress for NDP and SDGs. Now, a number of activities have been lined up that include corporate social responsibility, where UBOS is to work with the Uganda Blood Bank Transfusion Services to conduct a blood donation drive.
We are modernizing the data ecosystem so that we can accelerate the African Continental Free Trade Area. We want to have free trade within Africa, and Africa has a big market, as you know. So we want to find out the data. What does each country produce? What do they import? What do they export? Who has comparative advantage? So that we can harness the regional efforts. And we also want to use big data to understand what each country is endowed with. where we are moving towards geospatial data, we need to be having coordinates for whatever we do. And this is also part of the big data. And the launch of National Standards Indicator Framework are the most important component of the national source system, because if we produce data and statistics not use it, then it is useless. Secondly, data users help us improve the quality of statistics produced, because they critique where they think there are some gaps and weaknesses, and we improve. So they are part of the production ecosystem of their users. And other data users are big sponsors of data producers, like the government ministries, especially Minister of Finance, are data users, and they, during this celebration, will take off time to reflect on the achievements, challenges, emerging issues, expectations, and the practice, and in turn, live inspirations for enhancing data production, development, and use.
Now, a church delegation from neighboring Rwanda has joined Ugandan pastors in preaching peace and unity among nations in the region. During a press conference held here in Kampala, Apostle Joshua Masasu from Rwanda said it's time now for churches to receive a new revival of preaching unity among Christians. Apostle John Bunju, who received the Rwandan team, says churches in the East African region are now going to start working together as one in promoting peace. The delegation is to stay in Uganda for 4 days, meeting Uganda's various religious leaders.
We want to take this opportunity to welcome a great man of God, humble man of God, Apostle Masasu. He is one of the rare ministers in Kigali, Rwanda, a man that has branches all over the world. And now Uganda is blessed. Not only blessed, but East Africa is blessed, and Africa is blessed. As we see in the other sector of political, there's the East African community and all that, but also on the side of the church, God is doing a great work of revival. His revival is coming to East Africa, revival is coming to Uganda, Rwanda, and the rest of the world. So we are so grateful this morning to have received our own brother, Apostle Masasu.
Opportunity to come in and encourage each other and get the church prepared for the coming revival. We're sure a great move of God is coming, as it used to be to Kutendereze. I think it's another wave, a new one. So we've come to share heart to heart with some key leaders, fathers and pastors, so we can get ready the church to be effective in such a time like this. I think we share a lot with Uganda. Uganda and Rwanda share a lot, and I think the church should play a key role now and take the church back to its key role to bring unity, to bring just change and impact our community and our society, and the church should become effective. People could look at the church and say, oh, these people has the answer of questions and issues we never thought about.
Lunchtime News now takes a short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
Jovia ng'oyolekera ku lugendo luno olw'obulamu nkuwa ekirabo eky'amaanyi agatazizibwa, amaanyi okulabibwa n'okuwulirwa mu mawanga ag'ewala ennyo, okutuuka buli wamu nga yadde togenzeeyo, ensi yonna ng'ekuli mu ngalo. Okutambula mu biseera n'okumanya buli kimu ekirina okumanyibwa. Jovia kino kye kirabo kyange gy'oli.
Tewali kumuko ky'osobola okukola ku mukutu nnandameggwa ogwa MTN.
African Airline Association, in conjunction with Uganda Airlines, presents the 55th AFRA Annual General Assembly between the 19th and 21st November 2023 at Speak Resort Hotel, Munyonyo, in the heart of Uganda, the Pearl of Africa. In attendance will be 500 high-profile African and global aviation leaders, 40 airline CEOs making strides to transform aviation for development. The 55th AFRA AGA is proudly powered by
West Nile Education Trust Fund announces the 4th annual fundraising dinner to be hosted in Kampala at Kampala Parents Main Hall on Saturday, the 2nd of December 2023, starting at 4 p.m. The Trust Fund targets to support brilliant but needy students from West Nile region to join public universities to study selected professional courses. The fund is currently supporting 28 students in the different public universities across the country. The West Nile Education Trust Fund calls upon all education-loving individuals, corporations, organizations and all well-wishers and associates of West Nile to support this initiative. Tickets are on sale at 100,000 Ugandan shillings per person, 180,000 shillings for a couple, and a corporate table of 6 persons costs 1 million Ugandan shillings. For more information, you can contact Mr. Charles Drakabo on 0772 603 162, Mr. Robert Ejiku on 0772 522 619, and Miss Carol Andama on 0772 760 210.
Era tutukanga kuba omuntu nti ni gasita ndala mukaaga itaano sita isatu ash onige yes
nga obakubuza machanti
nga bamubuza machanti code nga tumukobata mu nsanvu bino olumalirizawo ngatamwe sente dali kuwayo kumbaga ya mwenemu sawa yeneyo nga kyabazinga amwebaza nga tweyongere kai tujja mu kyalo ekindi
ekikoba embago lunawa luti nga mwira
tulija kumala kai tweyongere emyezi mukaaga nga tukasomesa abantu momope
baba embaga ya mwenemu eriyo nga 18 kai emyezi omukaaga gyoli kuongeramu ojaji
oyidi ne bya momope abantu yembite yona bandeta momo ono ne bibali kumpaka ne bya momo pabi tyama kupichipichi ojo bisomese
muleke musoni we tyamaja
baba tuka bulungi
simbule embalasi asumulude
momo nyabo.
Pay or shop with MTN Momo and get cashback every week. It's free of charge. Use the Momo app or dial *165*3#.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, it is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a poultry project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Welcome back, and you are watching Lunchtime News here on UBC TV. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma. Let's have a look now at the latest in business. Now, a new leadership for Chamber of Commerce and Industries Arua branch has been put into place. Now, this is an election that was organized on Monday by the Uganda National Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Ronald Debo, the new chairman, Chamber of Commerce and Industries Arua branch, emerged unopposed after his opponent decided to step down before voting could commence. Cesar Drakabo refused to be on the ballot on claims that the election process was marred by irregularities. This then prompted Commercial Officer of Arua City, Jobela Yiko, who presided over the election with supervision of the Chamber Secretariat, to declare Ronald Debo unopposed. Now, Mr. Debo will be deputized by Tony Ochaya as his vice for the next 5 years.
The Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, as by law established. So help me God.
From our beloved Madam President, team from the Secretariat, it is a high interest and everyone's interest to make sure that the elections in Arua City, particularly, what should take place. Bwanara Sisi, I really exceedingly thank you with your team. Some of you don't know, Arua City, the location alone, has the interest of even the head of state, who is the #1 champion of promoting trade and investment. That's President Yoweri Museveni, alongside Madam Olive Chigongo. We have a lot of potential, and I'm proud of your team. And indeed, I have no doubt that this team is going to deliver.
It is long overdue. First of all, we need an office. We need to activate the account. We need to register over 2,000 businesses, bring unity between the business community and the chamber. We need to bring unity between the chambers of Congo and the chambers of South Sudan with the chamber of Arua. We also need to have a database for all the businesses. We need to create a website. Because we are going to work as a team and we are going to delegate and so on, we think these things can be achievable in the next 100 days.
There were confusions here. IVU business community, West Nile business community, all these will fall under Chamber of Commerce leadership, and I urge them to embrace the new leadership set. I urge the leadership to get them on board so that we have one solid business group in this region and address the interests of the business community.
Welcome back. Now let's have a look at what's happening outside Ugandan borders, and we begin with Liberia, where Liberians are voting in presidential runoff election after the two leading candidates were separated by just over 7,000 votes in the first round a month ago. They are choosing between incumbent and one-time football star George Weah and former Vice President Joseph Boakai. The president narrowly won the first round but failed to get more than 50% of the vote, triggering the runoff. Voting in October was fraught with allegations of fraud and violence, and the Election Commission said that 9 of its temporary staff had been arrested over alleged ballot tampering. Now, this is the fourth presidential election since the end of more than 20 years ago of Liberia's civil wars, in which 250,000 people died. Boakai, who served as the vice president to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Africa's first elected female head of state, has secured the endorsement of 3 of the 4 best performing candidates.
Weah has built hospitals and introduced free education, but he's also faced criticism for allegedly not doing enough to tackle corruption. Main rival Joseph Boakai has campaigned
to the Middle East now, and thousands could be trapped inside Gaza's largest hospital due to nearby fighting, while officials have warned of rotting bodies piling up there. Al-Shifa Hospital, which is also tackling power cuts and lack of fuel, is nearly a cemetery, the World Health Organization has warned. Now, the hospital's manager said it was under a blockade and that dogs had started eating corpses. The area around the hospital has seen intense fighting in recent days. US President Joe Biden said he hoped to see less intrusive action at the hospital, which he said must be protected. Gaza City has seen an intensification of fighting between Israeli and Hamas forces in recent days. much of which has been taking place in streets close to the hospital. There have been reports of tanks and armored vehicles within meters of the hospital gate. Israel accuses Hamas of operating a command and control center in tunnels underneath the hospital, which Hamas and the hospital deny. And that brings us to the end of this lunchtime news edition. Thank you so much for having kept us company. But do remember that we shall be back with you later on at 8 and 10 p.m. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, wishing you a blessed afternoon, and those of you having your lunch, bon appetit.